how to add a computer to a domain that have just been created and allow that computer to get an IP address from a DHCP server and allow the server then to register that address in the DNS server that we have set up. So the first thing that we need to do is, of course, we need to connect our Windows 10 virtual machine to the same switch that is running the test server. Now that machine, of course, is the private switch that I created. So I right click on the virtual machine, go to settings, I go to network adapter, and I just select what switch that computer must connect to. Private switch in this case, this will now connect the host, the Windows 10 machine, to my domain controller or to my server. Okay, once I've done that, I can connect to my Windows machine. Again, it automatically told us that, hey, we've just detected that you have created a network. Do you want to allow this computer to be part of the network? Share files, share folders, and all of those things. So we say, yes, we want that to be done. Okay, so now we're connected to a network, Andre.test, as you guys can see. Okay? So now what we need to do, at the moment, this computer is still in a work group. It's still on its own little Soho peer-to-peer network. We need to make a setting so that we can add it to the domain. So again, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm going to show you one of the longer ways. You first go to Control Panel. Once you're in Control Panel, you go to System and Security. Once you're in System and Security, you go to System. This is the same place where you can go to change your computer name. Okay, so what we do is here on the right, we click on Change Settings. This will allow us, if we click on Change, to change the computer name and attach to a domain. Or we can click on Network ID, which will take us through a wizard that will also allow us to connect to a network domain. Whichever way you use, the choice is yours. I'm going to go the simpler way. We're going to go to the Change button, say that I want to be a member of a domain, and add the domain name. In our case, of course, it's Andre.test. If we then click on OK, it will ask us, please provide us with an account that have access to the domain. In our case, is the administrator account. Be careful, you can see I did put the word Andre / in front because I also have to put the domain name. And remember, in our case, the domain name is Andre. Yes? So Andre / administrator. And then, of course, the password. So we click on OK. Now we have added ourselves to the domain. You can see, welcome to the Andre.test domain. We most likely going to have to restart the computer though. So let's restart it quickly. Shouldn't take long. Okay. Because this is Windows 10 running on quite a heavy machine. So it'll only take a minute or two. Okay, it's shut down. And it's starting back up again. And I can log in. Okay. I have no password, that's why I could just click on login, because I didn't set a password. Now if we look at the setting, you can see again now we're part of Andre.test. Okay. And if we look at our system settings, it will then tell us that we're not belonging to a peer-to-peer network anymore. We're now actually belonging to a domain. Okay. So we go rename this PC again. I'm going to go through all of that. So now we're part of the domain. Now if we go back to our server, okay, if I open up my server again, if I go to the DHCP server that we've just set up in a previous video, and I go to the scope that I created, we should maybe actually see that an IP address was given out. Ain't that cool? So this server actually already given out an IP address to my laptop, Windows 10 test. And it specifically was 192.168.0.10. And we can actually verify that. If I go back to Windows 10 and I open up command prompt and I say ipconfig/all, you can see that yes, I have an IP address of 192.168.0.10. I got it from my DHCP server. I got it Thursday 11th of June at 12 past 11, and I can keep it until Thursday 11th of June at 12 past 7, or the 8 hours of lease time that I've provided. So it works. And the last thing that we can check, if we go back to our server and we go to DNS, we should actually also see a DNS entry for that computer. Windows 10 test, it's a host record, and it's got an IP address of 192.168.0.10. This tells me that everything is working. The computer is part of the domain. It got an IP address from the DHCP server, and the DHCP server added its records into DNS. So those two computers can now find each other. We can now start sharing files and folders and all of those things so that these two computers can actually communicate and play happily along together in a network. And that's how I would just go about adding all of my computers to the domain. Just type in the domain name, type in the administrator account that's got access to the domain, and the domain controller will handle all of the rest.